Hello and welcome to How to Eat Well. My name is Stephanie Bedford and I'm a registered nutritionist. I help people live healthier, happier lives by showing them how the food they eat works so they can make better choices about what they eat and why. For each class, I ask you to open your mind and imagine how you see your health. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And how would you like it to feel? Visualize that and imagine how that shift would feel. Does that shift to better health excite you? Then I would love to show you how to eat well. Let's go to the How to Eat Well kitchen and see what the topic is this week. Welcome. This week we're going to look at vegetables and why they are important to eat. What I'd like you to understand this week is how vegetables are of benefit and how they affect you by the different ways they're grown, different ways that they're stored. When you prepare vegetables, what happens to the beneficial nutrients there, and also what happens when you cook them. So, the first thing we're actually going to look at is some of the facts, because most people are quite confused about what is a vegetable. And there are actually two definitions. So the first one is, if you're a gardener, you will see vegetables as a root, a leaf, or a stem. If you're a cook, you will be looking much more for vegetables to be savoury, and a fruit would be something that is sweet. A gardener would see a fruit as something that is seed bearing, so it's got seeds on the inside. And that's why confusion arises over ingredients such as cucumbers and tomatoes. But for the purposes of what we're talking about today, we are going to go with the chef version of savoury. So what you would find in a recipe, that's what we're going to use as a vegetable. So what do vegetables do? Why do we eat them? You know, they just add colour. What do they do? Well, they're incredibly important, probably the most important thing that we actually eat every day, and the thing we eat the least of. They provide us with two key things: fibre and micronutrients. So that's the vitamins and minerals. The colours of vegetables are really important. You often hear about people talking about 5 a day, 10 a day, and you don't understand why you have to have this variety. It's more that for getting a selection of colours onto your plate, because all the different colours in the fruits and vegetables that we eat provide us with different micronutrients. So 5 a day of green vegetables, so cabbage, cauliflowers, broccolis, Brussels sprouts, vegetables like that, doesn't really count because they're all the same colours. What we're looking for is a variety. We want to see carrots, beetroot, kale, and a real mix so that we make a rainbow plate. The key micronutrients that are particularly beneficial in vegetables are vitamins A, C, and E, and they chemically are very high in something called antioxidants. So antioxidants are simply important because they help our body stop cell damage. So our cells are worn out and broken down by things inside our body that damage them, and one of those things are free radicals. And antioxidants, their job is to go around the body and to mop up and to neutralize those free radicals. So the more free radicals we have in our body, the more antioxidants we need to mop them up. It's quite simple, really. So 5 a day, maybe not. The reason why is our environment plus the food we eat contains more free radical producing chemicals, and so our need for antioxidants has gone up. But over the last 50 years, one thing that's very noticeable in the growth of vegetables and fruits is that the levels of vitamins and minerals have declined, and this is for several reasons. One is through depletion of nutrients in soil, and also because of the way we grow our food now. A lot of vegetables are picked much earlier than they might have been, so they haven't reached their nutrient maximum potential. So that's why we actually need to eat more vegetables to be able to mop up the free radicals that were traditionally in our environment. But now we come across a lot more free radicals because our food has more chemicals put on it in production. We live in an environment that also has a lot of free radicals in it, and that also enters our body and has to be used up by the antioxidants. So that's a really big change. So 5 a day, absolute minimum, as many vegetables as possible. And that's why I say it's really the most important thing we eat during the day. And also, when I talked about vegetables earlier, I mentioned fibre, and fibre is really key. It's really important that our digestive system, which starts here in our mouth and ends in the bathroom on the toilet, it's a long, long tube, and everything has to keep moving along there. And if it gets stuck, it gives that bit of digestion that is stuck more time to cause problems in our body. Again, one of the things would be the free radical damage. So it's got to be moved along, and that's where fibre comes in. Much of the fibre that we eat now is not as potent as it once was, because we grow more tender strains of vegetables these days. So it's much gentler on our digestive system. And again, we're not eating enough. Another problem is that processed foods that we're eating an awful lot of these days are also low in fibre. So we're not getting a supply of fibre very evenly. So which vegetables are particularly beneficial? Well, here in the How to Eat Well kitchen, I have some vegetables here. And one vegetable that's particularly beneficial is the cauliflower, as is its family member, the broccoli. And they come from a family called cruciferous vegetables, and they include sprouts, cabbage, kale. So I've got a bag of kale here, a big bag of kale, often bought like this. We'll talk about chopped vegetables in a moment. The reason why they're particularly fantastic in our diet is that they are high in phytochemicals, which are a source of antioxidants, and chemically they are believed to be particularly fantastic at breaking down certain cancer-causing compounds. So by having more of these vegetables in our selection of ingredients that we eat every day, this helps our body really stay healthy. Another ingredient that's absolutely fabulous are tomatoes. They're high in something called lycopene. And again, this has been shown to be really beneficial against various cancers and also cardiovascular disease. We also love carrots. So here in the kitchen, I've got a lovely selection of vegetables. Carrots. We love carrots. You've probably been told as a child that carrots help you see in the dark. That's actually not true. But what they do have is something called beta carotene. That's what makes a carrot orange. And beta carotene is, again, very, very high in antioxidants. And this is what we particularly love about carrots. And I'll tell you more about the beta carotene and its importance shortly. And like we said, fibre, fibre, fibre. We need to keep our body pushing that food that goes in here through our system really evenly and really regularly. And that's why the old-fashioned question of, are you regular, is actually really important to our health. So when it comes to eating vegetables, there are lots of stories about the healthiest way you should eat vegetables. You should eat them raw, and deep frying things is bad. But what's the truth? What actually happens? And the reality is that it actually depends what you're cooking. So first thing that we need to understand is, from the moment something is picked, it starts to lose its nutrient value. So freshness is really key. Once you start preparing food, so you start chopping and slicing your vegetable, you're exposing the cells that you've cut to oxygen, and that breaks down the nutrients in the cells. So the more finely you cut something, the faster the nutrients will break down. When you then put those vegetables into water, those cut surfaces allow the nutrients to leak very quickly into the water or the cooking medium that you're using. So that's why lots of healthy recipes, and in the olden days we would use the cooking juices to make something else to become part of that meal, so that the nutrient value wasn't totally lost. But also heat can break down many vitamins and minerals, and that isn't always beneficial either. So all these things need to be borne in mind. And that's why food prepping a week in advance isn't ideal. And I'll touch again on that in a little bit. So, okay, so all these things happen to the nutrients when we are preparing our vegetables. However, cooking can sometimes be really beneficial to the nutrient value of a food, because it can also help release more of a nutrient than in its raw form. So tomatoes, really important one to know. It's healthier to cook a tomato than it is to have a tomato in a salad, because it allows the lycopene to be released. So tomato sauces are a big thumbs up from the How to Eat Well kitchen. And again, carrots with beta carotene. Much as carrots are delicious grated into a salad, try and eat your carrots a little bit cooked, because the beta carotene is released through cooking. So I thought it might be beneficial, and I might make a little YouTube video at a later date to show you which vegetables are best off eaten raw and those that are best off eaten cooked. So if you can remember the word grow bee, they are the raw vegetables that are best eaten raw, and they include G, garlic, R, red peppers, O, onions, W, watercress, and B, broccoli. So you want to try and eat raw garlic, red peppers, onions, watercress, and broccoli, or as cooked as little as possible, should we say. The ones that you want to have cooked, so they release the beneficial nutrients, you remember the word task with 2 C's. We've got T for tomatoes, A for asparagus, S spinach, C for carrots, and C for cabbage. So tomatoes, asparagus, spinach, carrots, and cabbage, they're better if they're cooked. So that brings me very nicely to the issue of the week, buying and storing vegetables. So going back to the things that I've mentioned earlier, organic versus non-organic vegetables. The difference can often be because of the scale of production. Organic farmers are generally smaller, and they might use a variety that is a bit tastier, and they don't farm with chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides, and those chemicals go in and on the food and add to that free radical load that I talked about earlier. So that's where organic can often be better. The other big issue that we have is that we like to shop and do a big shop, when actually, particularly with vegetables, super fresh is best. Because again, we've talked about it earlier, the closer we consume something to its harvesting time, the more nutrients it will have. Or in food marketing language, what you need to look out for is local and seasonal. So you need it to be picked and it hasn't travelled too far, and it was picked quite soon, and you need it to be in season. Strawberries are not in season in December if you live in the Northern Hemisphere and it's winter time. Strawberries are a summer berry, and often you'll see when you go to the greengrocers that you can get everything all year round, but the ones that are out of season, try and steer away and encourage local and seasonal production. We also talked about when food is harvested, it's not at its nutrient peak. So if you are able to buy from someone who grows their vegetables locally, that's fantastic, because they're not going to harvest their vegetables too early, and you're going to get a lot more nutrient value out of that. And also when you have your vegetables at home and you say, yes, but I keep them in the refrigerator and they look good and still feel firm, it's a little bit of, a grey issue, because they're no longer attached to the mother plant, so they're not getting the oxygen source that they need to sustain their health. They're just living on their reserves, and that's what's using the nutrients from within themselves to survive. So the longer that they're hanging around in your fridge, they are using the nutrients to sustain themselves. When vegetables are picked, and especially if they're picked in bulk, they are sometimes subject to crushing or bruising, and that of course will cause cellular damage, so that will affect the nutrients in the vegetables, and heat and light do too. And although it's a very big generalization because it's different for different vitamins and minerals, these are the principles that will help you make a better choice when you're out shopping for vegetables. Just for an example, some research I did was on spinach, and did you know that spinach loses 2/3 of its folate after 4 days of being harvested? So a bag of spinach that's been hanging around for a week really has lost an awful lot of its folate. There's still lots of other vitamins and minerals, but that's just an example. Now, I've got a fantastic home economic example this week that I'd like you all to do at home, because it's quite fun and it's a real eye-opener. And I'm going to talk about shop-bought salad. So, for instance, you can buy shop-bought vegetables that are already super cut up like this, and you've probably seen bowls in your local supermarkets that are a full salad with lettuce leaves, and they've got carrots, tomatoes, probably some sweet corn, and they'll mix up the varieties and give it a different name. It'll be a Mediterranean salad, or it'll be a seasonal salad, or they'll give it a name, but it's basically chopped vegetables in a bowl with a sachet of dressing normally for you to eat. I'd like you to buy a shop-bought salad and think about when the contents of that salad were harvested, how long ago. Because that to be harvested, then had to get to the factory that was going to prepare your salad. And then, so you've got all that transportation, and then you've got to look at that use by date or a best before date, and that's still a few days in the future. So you already look at quite a chunk of time. And now think about all the things we learned about earlier and the nutritional value. And you should start to question, is this quite as healthy as it seems? And then, for a bit of fun, take the salad apart, separate out the ingredients and weigh them. So how much carrots are in there, and how much lettuce, and how much sweet corn, whatever's in there. And then buy the same ingredients and weigh them and peel them. And if you want to be really mathematical about it, you can even calculate your wastage from your peel. And then do some maths. Work out how much it would have cost you for X amount of grams of salad, X amount of grams of carrots or sweet corn, whatever the ingredients are, and compare the prices and compare the freshness of the individual items you bought versus the potential freshness of the pre-prepared salad. And then think, which one's healthier, which one financially is healthier for my wallet, and then really question, was it so much easier and was it worth buying that salad? Or actually, if I just got myself organised in the kitchen, could I have prepared a salad even in the morning, taking it to work for lunch, or even the night before and taking it to work for lunch? And would that have given my body a better nutritional value than what I bought in the supermarket? So a very interesting experiment for you guys to do at home. And then I also have a recipe of the week. So my recipe of the week this week are stir fries. And stir fries I love, because stir fries are a great way of using up what you already have in the fridge. And that's really important too. We don't want to waste food. That's really just not on. All our food can be eaten. We just have to think and be a little bit prepared. When you make a stir fry, think about the ingredients that we talked about, the ones that are better off raw and the ones that are better off cooked, and use that in your timings as to when you add things. So leave the broccoli to the end. It adds a bit of crunch and texture, and it really doesn't need stacks of cooking. And chop everything all up just before you start cooking, and then cook it quickly. Stir frying, you just use a tiny bit of oil, very fast cooking, and so it really helps retain the nutrients as well. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for delicious food, but food that is really high in nutrients, because as we all know, we're all overfed and undernourished, and it's really important to increase our nourishment. So thank you for joining this week's class. This was my first class ever, so I'm really delighted that you joined me and really excited for the topics to come. Next week we'll be looking at something different, and it will be a similar structure to today's class. Remember to look out for our food villain, our pre-prepared foods that aren't adding nutrient value. And if you would like to comment, you can go to How to Eat Well. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, you find me on Twitter. I'm also on YouTube. So comment and share. Love to hear your feedback, photos of things that you found in the supermarket that now have horrified you. And I would really be delighted if your eyes have been open to spot those food villains. If you love everything that you're learning and you'd like to learn more, then please message me or email me via the website howtoeatwell.com, and I will show you how you can learn to eat well by joining my 30 Days to Healthy Living program. It's a really successful and fantastic program that encourages you to eat well and to understand how to nourish your body better, so in the future you can make better choices about your foods. And there's always a booking that comes out for the next class so that you can see the class live. Look out for the link that is associated with the video and the trailer that's come out before this video. And if in doubt, just go to howtoeatwell.com, and there's always information there, or you can always reach out to me there. And remember to tell your friends. The more people we have in the class, the better, because it's my mission to help you all eat well. So that's my class for today. I hope you all got value from it. And my wish for all of you is that you become the healthiest version of you and learn how to eat well, because it's a fact that we are all what we digest and absorb. So let's go spread the word and help everyone to live a better life and eat well. See you next week.